A few weeks ago, someone told me something that really stuck with me. They said, John, I am stressed all the time. And when I look at my real estate business, I'm always on edge, and you are never stressed. How do you manage that? Well, I just want to say, honestly, I laughed because it wasn't always that way. I do often feel like I'm not stressed. And I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit today. I believe a big part of that is knowing your non-negotiables. A big part of that is utilizing social media consistently so that I'm not chasing clients. And a big part of that is having your boundaries and non-negotiables, right? Early in my real estate career, I said yes to everything, guys, every showing, every call, every request. I said yes. And it's so funny now looking back because I feel like often I say no. And that's not out of disrespect. It's not out of not wanting to do something, but I just feel I have stopped having to apologize and excuse myself. For instance, a lot of you are stressed because you say, well, I have a date night with my spouse or kids soccer game or mom's group or whatever. And then my clients get upset when I'm doing those things. And I can solve that for you very quickly, okay? Everything is an appointment. You do not have to defend yourself and tell your clients where you are going and why, right? And then this is the thing. We need to value our families, our spouses, our faith, if you're a person of faith, just as much, if not more, than we value our clients, right? So let's kind of talk about this, right? Is your spouse important? Yes, absolutely. Is your client important? Yes, absolutely. I will challenge you with something. Are you valuing your clients and the commitment you've made to them more than the commitment you've made to your spouse? And that might sting a little bit, but I know so many of you that do it. I think I've said this before here on the channel, but I have a non-negotiable date night with my spouse every single week with my wife. Now, sometimes there's things going on. In mid-October, we were finalizing our taxes, and so we had to have our meeting at Panera finalizing the taxes. And there's been a few times, not always, but a few times where I had to write an offer, right? It has happened. But it's non-negotiable that I am with her at that time, on that day, non-negotiable, right? And so I think you need to think about like, who is my priority? Is it my clients or my family? You do not have to defend yourself to anyone. I'll say this as well. No is a complete sentence. Can you show this house on Friday? No. What about Thursday? You should not have to defend yourself, right? And so if you want to build a business of freedom instead of one that is stealing your time, that's what I want to help agents do. And so I hope this video is helpful for you because you need balance, you need margin. Recently, I had two friends that are thinking about getting their real estate license. They're a married couple. Tell me they were thinking about getting into real estate. And they said to me, their biggest fear was that they would have to work 24/7 and never see their family, and, including each other, a husband and wife team, or their kids again. But I told them something I wish I realized when I started. You get to decide what success looks like. You get to decide what you say yes to, and you get to decide what you say no to. And I brought them back, like I will today for you, back to early in my real estate career. My son's birthday is in early September, and I remember it was a few days before his birthday. He was probably turning, I don't know, 2 or 3 or something like that. And, at the time he was still napping, right? So he was having naps from about 12 to 4. And the day that my client wanted to meet me, it was at, I believe, 8 or 9 a.m. The exacts don't matter, but what does matter is where we're going with this. And that same day, my mother-in-law was going to have our son Caden for his birthday from about, I believe, 10 to 12. And so when I looked at my schedule, I said to myself, I said, wait a second. If I say yes to this, if I say yes to this appointment, he will get up at 8. I'll be basically going to this meeting at 9. My mother-in-law will have him from 10 to 12 or whatever for his birthday, which was fine. And then he would nap until 4 p.m. from 12 to 4. And so I thought to myself, do I really want to schedule this appointment for this new buyer? Now, what would you do? I know what you want to do. Some of you would say, like, oh no, I'm going to prioritize my son and our time on his birthday. But so many of you are prioritizing the meeting with the client, and that's where you're struggling, right? Because you need to say, my family is a priority. And you don't even, again, no is a complete sentence. You do not have to defend yourself. So what did I say to this person? Now I was honest at the time, but you don't feel like you need to defend yourself. I said to the client, I was so worried they'd be upset and I'd lose the client. And I said, hey, I'm really sorry. It's my son's birthday that day. Could we meet the next day, Thursday instead? What did they say? They said, oh, of course, just come over at 8 a.m. And so many of these things are avoidable by just having open and honest conversations, having dialogue, and just saying no, right? Here's the other part I want you guys to understand. If I say yes to that client on my son's birthday, I am starting a pattern of saying yes all the time, no matter what. My struggle early in my career was that I said yes to calls at 10, 11, 12 a.m., right? Midnight calls. And then I would get up to go to the bathroom at 5 or 6 a.m. or whatever it was, maybe 4 a.m. They had texted me already that morning and I would respond. What was I doing? I was setting myself up for failure and basically being available 24/7. Look, guys, we work hard as realtors, we make great money as realtors, and I don't want to discount that. But you are not required to respond 24/7. My phone now goes on Do Not Disturb at 9 p.m. and it goes off Do Not Disturb at 9 a.m. And I do not answer anyone in that time. Now, if it's an emergency, I will handle it. But really, once I put my kids to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I am off the grid. I am not answering you until the next morning at 9 a.m. And no one should feel like you have to be on demand like an Uber driver 24/7, right? You do not have to be clocked in 24/7. And what I found with this client, then when I said no because it was my son's birthday. Now, again, you don't have to, you could say, I have an appointment, I'm not available. But if you do say something, I found that they respected me more. I found that they appreciated that I put my family first. And I set an expectation that my family will always come first, always. And so they needed to understand that family was always first. And so remember how we talked about the avatar, and we'll talk more about it, and like attracting and detracting on social media? You need to attract and detract the right people. If you have someone that is angry that you will not meet them immediately on your child's birthday, do you really want that client? The answer should be no, right? My client respected it. And they said, we love that you put your family first and that you're the kind of person that puts their family first. We want to work with you. And that moment confirms something I've seen over and over again. When I lead with values, I attract clients who value the same thing. I've had clients that are late because they're picking up their son or daughter from school or late coming from a church event. I understand it because I get it. And so I attract the people that are like me who understand, hey, I have kids and I'm busy. And so you need non-negotiables. What will you not sacrifice? And time with your spouse and kids and faith, if you're a person of faith, should be number one. Those number one things. I absolutely will not sacrifice those things. You know, I love my friend and mentor, Jeremy Kane, and he will sometimes call me. He knows the day of date night, and he'll sometimes call me. I think just because, you know, maybe he forgets in that moment, and he'll say, hey, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm on a date night with Val. And he'll be like, why are you answering your phone? Goodbye. And he'll hang up. I love and appreciate Jeremy so much for respecting that and respecting me because we can talk anytime. Unless this is an emergency, we can talk about this in 3 hours. And by the way, this is going to hurt a lot of your feelings. There are very few emergencies in real estate. There are very few emergencies in real estate, and so many of you make everything an emergency. You know, you wrote an offer and today is Tuesday and it's due on Thursday. That's not an emergency, guys. It's not. Go be with your wife and your kids. Now, do it, sure, but it's not an emergency. Settlement is today at 11 a.m. and the electricity is not working. Yes, that's an emergency. But I want you guys to understand not everything is an emergency. So here's what I will not sacrifice. Church, it's a non-negotiable. I do not do any work Sunday mornings. I do not do any work usually until about 1 or 2 p.m. on Sundays. And I try not to work on Sundays, but again, it's not gonna happen. People need to see houses on the weekends, but I will not miss church. I will not be late to church. Faith is the number one priority, right? So faith, church commitments, those kinds of things. Family time, date night with my wife is a non-negotiable. I will not cancel it for you to show a house. Spending time with my kids, non-negotiable, right? If I've been out all day and my son comes home from school at 4 whatever p.m. and I have a couple hours with my kids, I'm spending time with them. I'll show you a house at 6 or 7 o'clock after I get some time with them, right? I will not sacrifice peace at home and joy in our home. I will not, because at the end of the day, here's the truth: no deal is worth sacrificing all that. Those things matter more than anything. No deal is worth it, right? I know how tempting it can be, guys, especially when you're new and chasing every lead, but it is not worth it. The clients that respect you will understand you having an appointment or family time. So people think boundaries hold you back, like you can't be successful. But to me, I firmly believe boundaries set you free. They do, right? They filter your business. They attract the right people and they push away the wrong people. They give you peace of mind that you don't have to compete or sacrifice your kids or spouse or faith for your clients, because the clients you attract are going to understand those priorities in your life. And when you can do that, when you say yes to the right things, no to the wrong things, you get to have boundaries. You get to have peace. I feel a lot of peace in my business. As I record this video, I'm not checking my phone every 5 seconds to see what client messaged me, because I've set boundaries with my clients that they understand that I am not going to answer you instantly unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, call me 5 times. If your house is on fire, call me. Otherwise, I will handle it within a few hours. It is all boundaries and setting those expectations, right? Those people that you attract, your avatar, right? Become the people that understand what you are going through and respect it. So here's my challenge to you: write down your top three non negotiables, the things you will not give up for your business. Feel free to put them in the comments here on YouTube, or maybe message me on Facebook. And then I want you to structure your week, your business, everything you do around those items. Protect them like you protect your paycheck. Because success is not about how much you make. It is not about working 24/7. It is about that margin, that peace, that balance. And it's about your mental health, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. It's about your family. That is success, when you are taking care of yourself and taking care of the people that you love. So if this resonated with you, please copy the link in the description and send it to somebody. Share this video with them, and I would love to help you and them kind of get those priorities in order. I firmly believe that when those priorities are in order, when you have your non-negotiables, everything else in your business, I promise you, will fall into place. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys very much, and we'll see you guys on Friday on our next video.